Hey, Mike, what you doing over there?
Just trying to place this focus tile.
Ooh, make sure you leave room for the bullet.
What bullet?
This one, mother... Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Mike.
And this is the Board Game Rundown, and today we're going to review Super Snipers from Galen Games. This was given to us for review, and if you're a patron, you can watch us play it. It's a raw, uncut thing, and so if that's something that sounds like it's fun to you, please consider supporting us.
Become a patron.
And if you can't, I get it, or don't want to, also get it. Mike, why don't you run us through how to play Super Snipers really quick?
Absolutely. So every game starts with the hide phase, where we take our tokens here, 2 miss and 1 of your character, and then we secretly place them over here on the 3 locations.
Right.
And then after each player has done that, we say, all right, go. And then you've got a lineup of polyominoes. You always start with the left. You're going to take your polyomino and you can place it on any of these 3 locations down here at the bottom. If you cover these icons with the correct color, you will get additional polyominoes that can go in your surveillance spot here, which we'll show you in a second. Once you're good, you flip that back to ready. And then it's simultaneous, all right? So then we'll slide these down, we'll grab another token, and then we'll grab again from the left side of the chain. The whole goal here is that you are trying to isolate this target in the middle. And isolating basically meaning, I'm speeding this up, I am trying to completely surround that yellow box there, like so. I've surrounded it. It also counts like if these are diagonal from each other and not completely touching. So once I've done that, then I am going to, well, Tim didn't put any on my side, but we're going to flip one of those tokens and find out if it's the character.
Oh, I missed.
If it's a miss, then okay, keep going. Now you don't have to place all of your tokens on the same board each round. You can spread them out, but ultimately you're trying to get to find this character.
Yes.
If his character was here, then we're going to move on to phase 3, which is the target phase, where I'm going to take now the location, place it onto my player board. I'm going to put the innocents on these little halo looking yellow spots here, and the primary target, Tim, on the red one here. Now I need to isolate these meeples from each other, okay? First, though, I get to take any of the surveillance tokens that I have gathered during the locate phase just by covering up these eyeballs with the correct color token. I get to start by placing all of those. So if I got 5 of them sitting here, I can put them all down. Same thing happens over here. If I cover these with the correct color token, now I get to flip these and I get special abilities, which we can talk about later. Again, though, we're trying to isolate. So I need to isolate each of these figures from each other, and that means that they can't have any room around the border either. So like, for example, I'd have to have something that would get this guy there we go. So that's isolated, for example, with him. All of them have to be isolated, however, and you have to leave room for the bullet. So last but not least, you want to get that primary target isolated, and you want to have room to place this little 3 L shape here. Whoever does that first has actually hit their target, and they're going to place their first bullet over on their side. You're going to continue doing that until one person has been shot 3 times. Once that happens, that's the end of the game. Typically takes about 20 to 30 minutes. It is a 2-player only game, although there is a solo mode. And of course, we played a 2-player game to learn this. So
Yeah. And I would say the only other thing that you need to remember is the placement of the tiles. When you're placing them, your first one has to be touching the edge, and then any similar color of the focus tiles or types of focus, you need to have touching one that you've already played.
Correct.
But I mean, it's really, Mike, you did a bang up job of like running through it. I mean, that's pretty good.
Chaining in the book, but yeah, and diagonals do count. So like this kind of stuff is allowed, and that actually does isolate these figures too. So
right.
There you go. That's the rundown on how it plays. We'll get into some of the abilities later. But there you go. That's Super Snipers.
Yeah. So everything Mike said, and I will just first and foremost just jump right on the components of this game. I will say they're really good. I really appreciate what you get in this box. These acrylic tiles are really cool. There's a ton of asymmetric characters in here. Love that. It's super cool. The player aids are really strong. I will say the big miss on the player aids is it doesn't tell you the names of the focuses in here. It's in the rule book because it might matter whether it is a time, environment, or breath. And they're basically those based on the color. So purple is environment, the gold or yellow is time, and then the gray or white one is breath.
Yeah, the character cards that have their own like special abilities, there's multiple, by the way, but they actually have the word in the color. So time is yellow, so I know that the yellow ones are time tokens, but if you're not looking here, it's kind of like, okay, which color is called what?
And it took us a minute to figure that out.
Yeah, we thought it should have been on the player aid.
But that's one of my few nitpicks.
These acrylic tokens are really nice. Continuing on components, all the cards are linen. These are linen finish. This is dual layer. So when you slot these locations in, that feels really nice. It's a very snug fit. All of these are a nice double-sided acrylic token. And the art on the characters looks really cool.
Yeah.
So I agree the components were really nice.
Yeah.
Velvet bags as well.
Yeah.
These feel great.
Yeah, they do.
Really like these.
They do. They look good. They look good. And they feel like they're quality. I've played some games where you reach into the bag and you're just pulling out strands of stuff and not anything you're actually supposed to.
Yeah, exactly.
But the components were really cool. The gameplay was very easy to pick up and quick to learn. And also Galen has there's a QR code for the rulebook. We even consulted this.
That was great.
Just to clear up a few things. I feel like the rulebook was really good, but like sometimes it just helps for me personally, seeing something done, because I learn much better and quicker from playing it and seeing it, right?
Same. And that QR code was a really nice touch, and his video was very thorough.
Yeah, very thorough, and yeah, it was really handy. Really handy. So at the board game rundown, we are going to rate this game between 1 and 10 according to BGG stats. We will average Mike and I's scores together, and then that will be the score that you will see on Board Game Geek from us. So, but you could also just kind of go off of our individual scores as we kind of give you our reasoning as to why we give that score. And Mike, tell me what you think of Super Snipers.
So yeah, there's some cool things here. I definitely like polyomino games. I like trying to fit shapes into these little holes that I create for them. There's some planning ahead where you can see the tiles that you have coming up and trying to create the perfect slot to put those tiles. We talked about how we like the sort of meta game of, okay, well, we think that this location board is harder because there's 3 innocents that you have to locate. So do you go for that one first?
Right.
Or do you do like Tim did and save it for last? And when do you pick that board? So there's a little meta in there, reverse psychology that you're playing, choosing which one of these location boards to go for, which I thought was really clever. There's a lot of different characters, and all of them have their own special abilities. So I think the replayability is pretty good. It does play fast. Turns go very quick. There was another mode that we didn't try that was the quick draw, where you actually time it. And yeah, I could see trying to play it really fast would be interesting. There was one speed mechanic, however, that I didn't like. We were looking up the tiebreaker, and I can see there being a lot of ties in this where both players place their bullet at the exact same time. In the rule book, it says when that happens, it's the first person to place their bullet and say, got ya, or whatever you want to say, I win. And adding a speed mechanic in the tiebreaker, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't like that.
So let me just tell you real quick. The quick draw, basically, that's a 10-second timer.
Yeah. That thing does drain quick.
And
wow.
you have you take your turn, right? And once that sand is out, you can go again, whether your opponent is gone yet or not. You don't use the...
That would be a fun thing to play with AP players for sure.
Yeah.
But making it a speed win declaration as a tiebreaker, I think, is an odd choice.
I'm not saying that fixes it for you, but I do like this quite a bit.
I do like that. So where I'm going to fall on this is a 7. I would play it again. I suggest you try it out. I like the components and the replayability. That tiebreaker is a little weird. It's not ruining the game for me, but it is my one critique I would definitely would throw out. I'm falling on a 7.
Cool. So the other sniper game that I played was Sniper Elite. I did not like that game at all. This is completely different. But I think I had in my brain maybe like a sniper game. But here's the thing. And also, I'm kind of bad at polyomino games sometimes. Like Planet Unknown. Like, I just didn't love it. Life in Reterra, didn't love it. But this one, I think because it plays so fast and the rules are really interesting and there's some unique combos that you can build, I really appreciated that. Another thing I will say is I have never played a game like this. Ever, right?
Very true.
This is very unique and stands out. I mean, just for that alone. And I think that there's a lot of appeal here with the replayability and with all the different character types, right? Like, holy crap! And then these are basically have 6 different locations you can pick from. To really sort of like complicate things and make it interesting. So there's a lot of really cool stuff in here that you can do, and I really appreciated that. I think originally, as you were talking, I'm like, oh, this is probably like a 7.5. But then I started to think about sort of the uniqueness of this, and I think it really moves it up to an 8 for me. So I'm going to come down on an 8. Mike's got a 7. I believe if we average that together, that makes it a 7.5.
Yep. I will say one other note is when I heard about the theme for this game and the mechanics for this game, I really in my head couldn't fathom how that was going to work. I'm like, how do you make a polyomino game a sniper game? That doesn't make sense to me. But then I played it. It does make sense. You're locating your targets and you're isolating them and focusing your attention towards your targets. It actually does work pretty well.
Yeah, the theme is sneaky like a sniper, but it comes through. The theme is like a ghillie suit just hiding over on the side, and you didn't realize it was there the whole time. No, this was a good time. I really appreciated this game, and whether we love or hate a game, it is always worth mentioning that it's amazing that somebody got a game made, because it's really hard to do. So congratulations on that, whether you like our review or not.
He self-published this, and he's got more games in the can, too.
Oh, yeah, those Mint Tin games, stay tuned. They're really good. But yeah, this has been Super Snipers between Mike and I. I was an 8, he was a 7. That puts it at a 7.5. That's what you'll see on BGG. So... hope that this looks interesting to you. Thank you for watching. And for the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
I was Mike.
We'll see you next time.